Hey everybody, welcome to the Mark Parham podcast. You can follow me by typing in Mark Parham podcast on Spotify and I should pop up. So I'm looking at a story right now it's about, Target closing, I think a location in Harlem or something like that because of retail theft. Again, this shouldn't surprise anybody because, you have a lot of these Democrats that are sitting up and they've put laws in place where, you can steal from stores and basically, I think it's looked at as a misdemeanor in some places. Or I think you get a fine or something like that. But, a lot of people stealing from these stores, they know that there's no consequences for, their actions. And, again, this is all happening because you have some of these Democrat mayors and governors and, people in I would say some of these even prosecutors and stuff that are liberal and they look at it as, oh, well, this isn't a serious crime and this is racism and, we don't want to put people in jail. No, you have to put people in jail. And the reason why I say that is because the people doing these crimes, they know that there's no consequences. It's almost like, a person that likes to sit up in, well, not even a person, but it's almost like a child. If a child, you allow a child to keep on, throwing their football in the yard when they're supposed to come in and, do chores or whatever, they're going to keep on throwing the football in the yard. Like, again, parents are there to set boundaries. And right now, there's no boundaries in place. I mean, if people speak out and say something, they're considered a racist. They're considered people that don't like black people or Hispanic people. And, it's just a big mess. And so a lot of these liberal policies, a lot of this, hands-off policing and the defund the police movement, it's backfiring. I mean, it's crazy that I'm looking at images of, it's almost like flash mobs that, how you see a flash mob and they're singing, how they used to have flash mobs that would go to certain locations and sing songs. You're almost seeing flash mobs of, young people going to stores and groups and just stealing stuff and running out. It's insane to me. And, a lot of these stores that were, all a part of the Black Lives Matter movement and, oh, we've got to end racism and all this other stuff. Now they're seeing that this is a huge problem. And I think Target right now, they're thinking about closing one of the stores in Harlem. I've even seen images of, people stealing in San Francisco, Chicago. It's all across the country. I mean, even I think one store I saw where they're putting some of the items behind plexiglass so people stop stealing. I think it was in San Francisco or something like that, but they were doing a story and one of the ladies from CNN went in the store and somebody stole in front of that person. I mean, right on camera. I mean, these folks are so brazen. Some of them, these people aren't even using masks. They're just going in the store, just like me and you would walk in the store and they're stealing. They don't care if there's a camera or anything because, again, they know that a lot of these Democrats and these mayors are soft on crime. They wouldn't be doing this if you had, let's just say, a Giuliani type of mayor running New York City. Or you had a mayor that was tough on crime. They're doing this because they know they can get away with it. So, again, these are the liberal policies that are destroying the country. In California, it's a mess. I've seen just the images are horrible. I can keep on going on and on, but the only way to stop this is you're going to have to start hiring police, maybe have a retail theft task force, and like I said, arrest people and give them long sentences. If somebody steals, maybe a 10, 20-year sentence to some of these folks. And, the message will get around on the streets that, this isn't a place to steal. But if you're just going to make this a misdemeanor, well, people are going to sit up and say, oh, well, yeah, I can do X, Y, and Z because nothing's going to happen. And if something does, then, some of these folks are probably back on the streets in probably less than 24 hours. It's a shame. I've seen so many weak prosecutors and stuff nowadays. It's horrible. And it's only going to get worse. If you keep allowing this problem to happen, it's only going to get worse. And, that's where we're at right now. So it's funny that the liberal media is reporting this like this is, a problem that just happened, overnight. It's been going on. I've even seen the Gateway Pundit and some of the, more right-leaning websites talk about this stuff for years. And, we're to a point even in the media where things are like the mainstream media or liberal media, they catch on to stuff 4 years late. I mean, it's sort of sad, but that's why I don't watch CNN and MSNBC like I used to, because they're just so behind on stuff. And again, things are so bad that people are saying, well, wait a minute, Trump is correct. Maybe we do need to get tough on crime. But like I said, when Trump was saying it and Republicans were saying it, and, some people, white folks were saying it, oh, it's racist and this and that. And I'm so happy that people are waking up. Sometimes it takes, things to happen, extreme things to happen to folks in neighborhoods and communities for people to wake up. And I think that, the whole, oh, well, everything is racism and this and that. I think people are getting tired of that argument. It's a lot of these folks, like I said, some of these people don't have parents at home. They have no guidance. And, look at the results of what's happening. So until towns crack down on this problem, and it's a major problem. I think I was reading one of the dollar amounts was I think they said retail theft in America's stores have lost $112 billion. I'm not sure. But I read something, to that, in that ballpark. And again, if a number like that doesn't get the attention of America, then I don't know what will. And it's insane. I mean, we can't close our borders. We can't, stop retail theft. But you notice we can't stop retail theft or close our borders, but we can put, people on the moon. We can, design fancy spaceships, but it seems like, we can't solve simple things. And I don't think it's a thing of that Americans can't solve these problems. It's that they don't want to. Like I said, Democrats see all of these people as potential voters. So it's almost, I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's in the plans. Keep the borders open, keep people, stealing, don't prosecute, people for doing crimes. These Democrats are so desperate to beat Trump, they'll do anything. They'll do anything to keep the minority voters. They'll put up with this mess just so Joe Biden will win the election. And the sad part about it is, because they're so ruthless about winning the next election, they're destroying America in the process. I mean, America right now is at a breaking point. And it's to the point where I was looking at something where they were saying more minority voters that normally vote for Democrats are now switching over and voting for, or thinking about voting for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is so ahead in the polls right now on the Republican side that, the folks they have there basically, people paid, by these organizations to attack him. I mean, I've seen some of the other candidates that are up on stage. I think there's a debate tonight because it's Wednesday, the September 27th. I think there's a debate tonight. And, Donald Trump's far ahead in the polls. They keep on trying to tell him, well, why don't you come to one of the debates? Why would he? I mean, it'd be a waste of time. He did a smart thing by going on to Tucker and, just avoiding the whole thing. But the candidates they have now are basically, some of these folks don't have a chance in hell to win. They, these organizations pay them to just be Donald Trump attack dogs. I mean, some of these people attacking Trump are in are in the single digits as far as, people wanting to vote for them. And they just have them out there to, sling mud. And so Donald Trump's doing this smart thing. To be honest, if I were him, I wouldn't even attend any of the debates. Because, they think he's stupid enough to attend, so they can just attack him all day. And, it's smart. He's ahead in the polls. He doesn't have to show up. He would do better, going on somebody's podcast and engaging in a debate, especially on a network that doesn't even do, good ratings. I mean, I think Fox or something like that, I think they did the first debate, and, they were all salty that his Twitter video with Tucker, had more views than I think the whole debate they had on Fox. So he's using a smart strategy. He's not setting himself up to be a crash test dummy, as I like to say. And so I think it was smart. But no, these Democrats are desperate. I mean, even though they know that all of these, policies about being, defunding the police, being weak on crime, they know these policies are going to hurt America. Again, some of these are politicians that have been in the game for 50 years. They know that these policies don't work, but again, they'll do anything to win an election. And if it means crime in America, open borders, people sleeping on the streets, being homeless, they don't care. They're that desperate to beat Donald Trump. And again, they don't like someone like Donald Trump because Donald Trump is raw. He goes out there, he speaks his mind, and he doesn't want to keep these systems and organizations going. I mean, if you look at some of these wars and stuff that the Democrats want to get into, and mind you, the Democrats used to be anti-war, but now all of a sudden, because some of them are invested in, I guess, Raytheon and some of these other companies, it's just like, oh, well, we have to keep on giving money to the Ukraine, and we can't let Russia win, and all this other stuff. And like I said, we'll spend more on the Ukraine-Russia war. I mean, the Ukraine and Russia, situation, war, whatever you want to call it. We'll take all of our resources as Americans on that. But mind you, we have an open border, in America. It's amazing that we spend more time worried about their border in the Ukraine, but we don't spend any time worried about our border. And so, again, it's all planned. The funny thing is when I hear people say, oh, well, Joe Biden doesn't know, or the Democrats are clueless. No, they know. They get intelligence. They get photos and drone pictures and stuff like that, but they choose to do nothing. And so, again, they're just desperate in this election. They're going to do anything to beat Trump. I mean, they're coming up with, I think this recent situation, they got him for fraud and all this other stuff. And, they get these liberal judges to come on and, make up stuff and tell lies. And isn't it funny that before he was president, all of these Democrats loved Donald Trump. They were going to his parties. They were going to Mar-a-Lago. They were, going to his golf courses and clubs and stuff like that. And they had no problem with the guy. But it's like all of a sudden he's up in the polls. Let's just come out with, charge him with fraud and say that his businesses aren't, legitimate and things like that. And with this recent thing, I think this fraud situation, isn't it amazing? They do it basically around the same time as the debate. It's all planned. And so this is going to be the topic of the whole debate, I guarantee you tonight. It's September 27th, 2023. This is going to be the whole topic of, oh, well, you see Trump and, this fraud situation. Well, what do you think about this, Vivek? What do you think about this, Tim Scott? And so they're desperate. They're doing anything to come after Trump and, sort of knock him down a little bit, but it's not working. The people see through this. We have the internet, and so these old school tactics of the mainstream media being able to control the narrative aren't working anymore. I mean, now we're in an age where people can get on Twitter, or people can get on their, I hate to say it, Facebook, or some of their social media websites, and basically put out their side of the story. So these old media tactics that might have worked in the 90s aren't working anymore. And it's just like they keep on seeing the polls. So it's like every time he goes up in the polls, they want to charge him with something or come out with a new allegation. And I think he even made a speech about that. It's like the better he does in the polls, then the more they want to come out with some sort of dirt or imaginary story. And so, again, this effort to bring Trump down, it isn't working. And again, we need somebody like Trump in power to at least bring some law and order back to America. I mean, with Joe Biden in office, you're seeing the images of people stealing from stores, people coming across the border, like it's a free-for-all. And the Democrats know, but they don't care. Anything to beat Donald Trump and win the election, they'll sacrifice, quality of living in America, and it's sort of sad. I never thought that America, it would get this bad, but we're almost turning into a third world country. Like, we can't look at other places and get on them when we're doing the same thing. So, again, like you always hear me say, if you see a problem, make a YouTube video, make a podcast, speak out. We need everybody's voices to expose the truth. And again, follow me on Spotify. Type in Mark Parham Podcast on Spotify, and I should pop up. But thank you, and have a great day.